And we are hoping that this will be informative, not too much information, but just the right amount of information to get you started on this journey. There will be time for questions at the end. So throughout the presentation, you can feel free to put questions in the Q&A box, and I will answer them at the end of the presentation. We want this to be interactive, even though it's in webinar format. So we hope that you will feel comfortable asking your questions via the Q&A. So let's get started. So there is a lot to consider when it comes to studying abroad. When is the best time for you to go? What type of program should you select? Where should you go? Can you take courses in English, or do you have to take courses in the host language? How are you going to finance your time abroad? That's going to be a big part of what we discussed today. How might your personal identity and the intersections of your identity come into play during your time abroad? And of course, how is this going to fit into your overall academic plan? We're going to break all of that down for you today, and we're going to highlight a few programs that you might want to consider. So first, let's talk about timing. When is the best time for you to go abroad as a transfer student? So you all just arrived. Most of you are in your very first term here at UCSD. Perhaps some of you did come this summer. So that means you're on a shortened timeline. So for most of you, you'll be beginning this process right now this fall term. That means you're going to be speaking to your academic advisors this term to determine when is the best time in the next 2 years for you to study abroad. For most of you, that's likely going to be either summer 2022, so this upcoming summer, or fall 2022, or potentially spring 2023, which would be like winter and spring quarters. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So that doesn't give you a lot of time, but it does give you enough time for this process to get rolling. So if you are considering studying abroad summer or fall 2022, your application time begins now. Our application is just opened for our summer and fall cycle, and most of the deadlines are in January or February. So we absolutely want you, again, to be speaking to your academic advisor, taking a look at our process, determining what kind of program you want to participate in, and get the ball rolling as soon as possible. We do have summer options, quarter, a semester, academic years. The term that you determine to go abroad should be the best fit for you based on not only your academic plan, but also your extracurriculars, whatever else you're involved in on campus. If you have a job, family responsibilities, whatever that might be, we want you to choose the term that's the best fit for you. Something to note is we at UCSD are on the quarter system, but most of the rest of the world is on the semester system. So if we're talking about a fall quarter abroad, you'll be participating in a fall semester program, which typically runs anywhere from August to early September through December. If we're talking about a spring semester program abroad, that's going to cover our winter and spring quarters. So think about that. If you're thinking about spring, you're going to be gone 2 quarters. As a transfer student, that might not be the best option for you. It kind of depends on your academic plan and how many courses you transferred in, what types of courses you're taking abroad, all things to discuss in the academic planning phase of this process. And then deadlines. I mentioned that right now we are in our cycle for summer and fall departures. So that means students are applying anywhere from 9 months to 12 months in advance of their time abroad, which is very far in advance. So the goal, I think, today is not to make you feel rushed, but to encourage you to get started right away. And then again, how is this fitting into your overall academic plan? You only have a couple of years here, and many of you may have transferred in with a lot of courses to your major. So we'll also want to talk to your academic advisors about how many units can you transfer into your major at this point. All right, location. Where should you go? We have a lot of program options all over the world in over 50 different countries. You might want to think about things like, do you want to be in an urban versus a rural location? UC San Diego is in a pretty urban location. It's a pretty busy part of the country here in San Diego. Maybe you're looking for a quieter, more rural option. Maybe you don't want to be in the heart of the city. Maybe you don't want to be in the hustle and bustle. We're a huge institution. We have 40,000 students. Maybe you'd like to be at an institution with a lower student count. Those are all things to consider when it comes to selecting a location. So you may be thinking, okay, well, I think I want to study abroad in Europe. That's awesome, but we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of programs in Europe. So what country in Europe? What city in Europe? Even within a given city, we may be partnered with several different university options. So then you want to take a look at what courses are offered. Maybe you know that you want to study abroad in Barcelona. We have like 4 different university partners in Barcelona. So which university is offering the most courses that are the best fit for you? So that's when you start looking into the courses offered for that program, digging into the course catalogs and seeing which university is the right fit. Also, what type of housing is available? Do they offer dorms? Do they offer apartments? Do they offer living with a host family? That's called a homestay. What type of housing arrangement are you most comfortable with? What are you looking for out of this experience? Those are all things to consider when you're looking at different program options. All right, language. So many students ask us, I only speak English. Do I have to speak the host language in order to study abroad in a non-English speaking country? And the answer is no, you don't. For nearly every program option that we have around the world, you can take your course options in English without having to speak the host language. So we strongly encourage you to study the host language, but it's generally not a requirement for most of our programs. Of course, many of our programs do have a minimum language requirement. And if you have been studying a second or third language or are a native speaker of that host language, then of course you can take your courses in the host language. And so you can kind of follow program options. Just make sure you're checking eligibility when you look at programs. For example, since we're talking about Spain, make sure you check the program eligibility for our programs in Spain. Some of them do have minimum language requirements, but certainly not all of them. All right, finances. Let's spend some time on this. So first off, your financial aid can be applied towards the cost of your study abroad program. So we're in our fall quarter here right now. You can go into your Triton link, pull up your financial aid award letter for the fall, and take a look at the breakdown of the aid that you've received for this quarter. If you're thinking about studying abroad, let's say next fall, participating in the fall semester program, you would receive something very similar to what you received this quarter, unless your finances change drastically when you complete your FAFSA this next round. So that will give you an idea of what type of financial aid and how much aid you'll have available for the cost of your program. So all of our study abroad programs do have a cost page. And so you can visit the cost page for that program and see the breakdown of the budget for that program. And then think about that in terms of your financial aid. If you're planning to study abroad in the summer, not all of the aid that you have available to you during the school year is available to you in the summer, but there is a good amount of aid available in the summertime. So if you receive a UC grant, your UC grant is available in the summertime. If you receive a Pell Grant, your Pell Grant is available in the summertime. So some of your aid that's available during the school year is also available to you during the summer. And so we do have a financial aid officer in our office. Her name is Tina Brilli. She's amazing. So you don't have to go through the whole financial aid office to get to a financial aid officer, because we have one here in our office. She was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately she's not feeling well, because she'd be able to go way into depth on your finances. So hopefully I'm doing a good enough job for now. But you can meet with Tina as a part of our process once you've decided on your program, and Tina can pull up your personal financial aid package in relation to the budget for that program and let you know exactly what your estimated aid will look like for that term. And if there's any gap between the budget of the program and the amount of aid that you have, and how you could potentially fill that gap with additional aid options and, of course, scholarships. So academic year 2018-2019 was our last normal year of study abroad. So that year we gave, actually it's closer to $980,000 in financial aid for our students to study abroad, which is a lot. And so in addition to the aid that you receive on campus, UC grants, your state and federal grants, so like Cal Grant, Pell Grant, your federal loans, your scholarships that you receive here on campus, you're also eligible for study abroad scholarships. So those are scholarships that are offered here on our campus through UCSD. Those are scholarships offered through the individual study abroad programs. There's no limit to the number of scholarships that you can apply for. We want you to apply for as many as you're eligible for. And in fact, in winter quarter, we run scholarship essay writing workshops to help you create the best possible study abroad scholarship essay that you can then tweak for multiple scholarship applications. So Those workshops, I think, are really, really helpful for our students. We have a really high rate of students receiving scholarships towards study abroad. We're actually about to receive an award as a top recipient institution for the Gilman Scholarship, which is the biggest national study abroad scholarship for Pell eligible students. You can get up to $5,000 for the cost of your program. In this last cycle, we had 17 recipients. So we take scholarship applications pretty seriously in our office. We want you to get as much money as possible. So know that that's a big piece of your entire process. All right, academics. So it is very important to us, and obviously very important to you, to stay on track for graduation. So we want you to ideally choose courses that will satisfy your UCSD requirements, although you don't have to. But as transfer students, that's generally a pretty important part of this for you all. And so that planning early and getting advised from your major advisor, your minor advisor, your college advisor, and from our advisors in our office is critical to that. So we have a portion of our process that involves you having your courses pre-approved by your advisors, who will help you determine whether or not those courses look petitionable. And that's a pretty key piece, because we want to make sure that you're taking courses that you will be able to successfully petition upon your return to UCSD. And so we have data to prove that students who study abroad graduate more on time or earlier than students that don't. And that's a direct result of all of the academic advising and planning that we have built into our process. So please don't worry about delaying graduation as a result of studying abroad. As we go through the process, we have lots and lots of checkpoints to make sure that you're going to stay on track. You might also consider doing an internship or participating in a research opportunity during your time abroad. It's also very popular with our students. It should fit seamlessly into your term there. For example, if you are planning to take 4 courses abroad, excuse me, if you're planning to take 4 courses abroad, maybe you'll take 3 courses plus your internship or plus your research opportunity. And those are typically 15 hours a week, so it would replace a course, and you can earn academic credit for internships and research opportunities abroad. So that's certainly something you should consider taking advantage of. It's great resume building and adds to your overall academic experience. And yeah, that's about it for that piece. All right, so your identity matters to you, it matters to us. It matters to us here at UCSD, and it also matters to us while you're studying abroad. So we have a lot of resources available on our website to help you start to think about the intersections of your identity and how they may come into play during your time abroad. So we have student stories like, what is it like to be a Black student studying abroad in Spain? What is it like to be a queer student studying abroad in Argentina? So you can hear from other students about their experiences. We have lots of websites and resources linked there. And if we're missing anything, please let us know. We're constantly adding to the site. We want this to be really robust and include as many identities represented as we can have in there. So please let us know if we're missing something. We'd love to add additional resources there. But it's super important that you start to think about that during your time abroad. All right, so let's talk about study abroad programs. We have a lot of different options out there. You may have seen some different acronyms if you've visited our website. So let's break that down. First up is the University of California Education Abroad Program, or UCEAP. The UC is so big, we have our own in-house study abroad provider that we have our system-wide exchange programs with universities around the world. So you can study at London School of Economics and earn UC credit. You can take all of your financial aid with you that you have available that term. The courses that you take, I mentioned, are considered UC courses. So those letter grades are calculated into your GPA. So it would be as if you took those courses here on campus. And there are options available for summer, quarter, semester, academic year. Everything's available in over 50 different countries. Tons and tons of options available through UCEAP. The deadlines for UCEAP are notoriously early. So again, if you're thinking about going next summer or fall, those deadlines are going to be in January and February for the most part. We also have our Opportunities Abroad program, or OAP. So this is kind of an umbrella program that covers all non-UC programs. So for many different reasons, you may not find that UCEAP is the best fit for you. And so there may be an institution out there that you've always wanted to attend that we're not currently partnered with, or some other study abroad program that you found out there. That's fine with us. We want you to, again, be on the program that's the best fit for you. So we have a process for you to earn transfer credit and participation in those programs. As far as aid is concerned, you're able to keep your state and federal aid, but you would lose your UC aid just for that term. So depending on the cost of the program or depending on how much UC aid you receive, that may be a non-issue, but certainly something to consider. And if you are an international or a non-resident student, OAP could also be a good option for you because you're not going to have to pay your non-resident fee while you're participating in an OAP program. The courses that you receive in an OAP program are considered transfer credit. So that will fulfill your graduation requirements. You will go through a petition process with admissions and then your different departments. So it can fulfill your requirements, but those letter grades will not be factored into your GPA. So your GPA will remain the same as it was when you left. So that's also something to consider. Internship and research opportunities are also available through OAP, and you'll still meet with the advisors in our office throughout that process. So we also have our global exchange. These are our own UC San Diego bilateral exchange agreements with universities in Germany, Mexico, Australia, France, and Japan at the moment. And these are usually run out of specific academic departments on campus. So for example, our exchange agreement with Bauhaus University in Germany is through our Urban Studies and Planning program. And so that exchange program is specifically for USP students. So you can visit our Global Exchange website and take a look at these different exchange options and see if we have one that's a good fit for you for your area of study. For a global exchange, you'll pay your UCSD tuition and fees. You'll keep your UCSD aid, just like a normal term, but you'll be participating in this program abroad. We also have study abroad programs run through our other UC campuses. So you can study on a study abroad program through another UC campus. You'll earn UC credit. You can keep your financial aid. And this is pretty popular. Actually, UC Davis and UC Berkeley probably see the most of our students across the UC. Davis in particular has tons of summer and quarter options that are really, really cool. And so if you see a program offered through another UC, know that you can participate in it. We also have virtual study abroad options available. So for many reasons, some of you may not be able to study outside of the country at this time, or during the pandemic, you may not be ready to leave the country, and that's okay. So we have virtual study abroad options available. You can take courses online on global campuses. You'll be with faculty in Argentina, even though you're sitting here at home on your computer. You can participate in virtual internships, which has been a really exciting feature that has come out of our time in the pandemic. Students are able to participate in global internships, have that global internship experience, but be working from their computer in their bedroom, which is really cool, I think. So you might also consider a virtual study abroad opportunity in addition to our program options around the world. All right, so last I want to highlight our UC San Diego Global Seminars. These are our own UC San Diego summer faculty-led programs. So the programs are proposed each year by our own UC San Diego faculty. They're all 5 weeks long in either summer session 1 or summer session 2. You take 2 UCSD courses for 8 units. These are small classes. The programs are between 14 and 28 students. So it's nice to kind of have that small cohort of students traveling with our UCSD professor. That means that professor gets to know you on a more personal level. They know your name. If you're looking for that letter of rec later on in your time here, you have someone, a faculty member who can give you a letter of rec, and they're really popular with our students. I especially like to highlight global seminars for transfers because it's a great way to get to know a cohort of, excuse me, a cohort of UCSD students during your short time here. And I want to highlight some of our global seminars that you may be interested in this summer. So first up, we have our global seminars that will fulfill the DEI requirement. So you all know that we have a campus-wide DEI requirement, and we have a bunch of programs this coming summer 2022 that will fulfill the DEI requirement. So Ireland, Silicon Valley, this is a good fit for business majors in particular. But this program will also fulfill the DEI requirement. Genetics, Pandemics, and Society in Edinburgh. This is a brand new program proposed this year. Obviously, very fitting for the times that we're in. Jazz in Paris, this is a long time program. We've been running this time with a brand new professor. In addition to the DEI requirement, this program will also fulfill the 6 college practicum. And then sign language in Paris, which I think this will be our 2nd time running this program. It's so cool. I love the concept. If you're interested in sign language, this is a good choice. A few other DEI requirements: cultural language and child development in Ecuador, people, politics, and power in Puerto Rico. This is a brand new one. Journalism in Central Europe. So this program is based in Vienna, Austria. So you can see that all these programs will fulfill DEI requirements, but their courses also can fulfill other requirements depending on if you need coursework in the areas that you see listed here. We also have our MMWs for this coming summer. Most of these, let's see, the first one, 20th Century World History in Berlin and Change in Modern South Africa. Those are programs we've run before with veteran faculty that are really, really great. And all these faculty absolutely love teaching students. These are the faculty that win the teaching awards, that really care about the student experience. So they're so much fun to be around. They're so brilliant. I mean, hearing them talk about these areas, like these are parts of the world that they're super interested in and super well versed in. So students absolutely love these experiences. Know that you, I see a question, can we do multiple programs that fulfill the DEI requirement? I guess considering yes. I mean, you would have to petition that with your college, through your college academic advising, but conceivably yes, for summer session 1 and summer session 2, if that's offered, yes. So for those of you who do need that MMW requirement, definitely consider these 4 program options. Let's see what else I got. For those of you from Revelle, these are our Revelle programs for the summer. Revelle in Edinburgh, Revelle in London, and Revelle in Rome, all programs we have run before and super popular with our students. You can see the academic areas that they fulfill. All right, so let's talk about study abroad in the times of COVID. So the way that we operate is to have a plan A and have a plan B. So plan A is for you to study abroad on the program of your choice and the term of your choice, and everything works great. Plan B is that, you know, maybe that program is canceled, maybe that country closes its borders, and we have another program option in mind for you to apply to or transfer your application to as a backup. You might also have a plan C. Plan C would be, okay, I'm enrolling in courses at UCSD for that term. And if things don't work out, I'll stay at UCSD for the term. Excuse me. So that was what many of our students had to do this fall. Some borders never reopened or programs had to be canceled, and we weren't able to transfer them to another program. So they were enrolled in courses at UCSD for the fall. No problem, they're here taking their courses and are planning a future term abroad. So you can definitely do that too. You know, the pandemic makes things, I don't know if I want to say volatile, but it makes things kind of all over the place, and we have to be really flexible. So we just have a lot of contingency plans in place, and we ask that all of you students be flexible in how things work, and know that it's our goal to get you abroad if we can. And if it can't be in your first choice location, like let's look at another program, let's look at another location. So that's kind of how that works. Let's see. All right. So what are your next steps? Your next steps are to research your different program options, and there are many. You can start at our website, which is studyabroad.ucsd.edu. You've now attended a first step session, so you can skip over first steps and move on to the next parts of the process, and then get advised. So we have, let's see, I think our next slide is about advising. Nope, it's not. I will talk about our different advising options in a moment, but I do want to highlight it's Expo Week. Expo Week started today. So Expo is basically a virtual study abroad fair. So we have multiple fairs happening at once, all online. There's our UC San Diego Expo, which will be tomorrow during lunchtime. We have our UC virtual study abroad fair during that time. So that will also be study abroad programs offered through all the UC campuses, as well as the UCEAP virtual study abroad fair. So that will be all the different program options available through UCEAP. So you can visit studyabroad.ucsd.edu/expo to view the schedule. You do have to register for each event. So you can register for the different sessions about studying abroad as a X, Y, and Z major, studying abroad during the pandemic. Register to attend the fair so you can learn about global seminars, learn about the other UC programs, you're going to learn about UCEAP. This is a really great time to get a lot of information about study abroad during this week. So we hope you will join us for Expo. And then if you want to meet with an advisor, we do scheduled appointments, scheduled 30-minute appointments. We also do 15-minute drop-ins on Monday and Thursday afternoons. Monday, our drop-in advising is from 1 to 2:30. Thursday, our drop-in advising is from 2 to 3:30. We have a virtual front desk open for most of the hours of the day, 9 to 4, Wednesdays and Fridays, 9 to 7, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So you can meet with our front desk, ask a few questions, schedule an appointment, or learn about our different advising options. All right. I am going to, let's see what kind of questions we have. Feel free to drop questions into the Q&A. And let's see, question about global seminars. So since global seminars are 8 units, it's 2 courses, do they count as upper division electives if they're part of your major? The answer is generally yes, unless it's listed as a core requirement for your major. And the way that you can find that out is by speaking to your academic advisor in your major. Because if that's a course that's offered through that department, they'll be able to let you know if it's going to come in as an elective or a core requirement, upper division requirement for your major. Let's see, the Global Seminars application opens November 1st. So we're just a couple weeks out. Global Seminars Global Seminar applications are run on a first come, first served basis. So that means for some of the more popular programs, I will say, for example, the MMWs and the Revell programs are always very, very popular. We recommend applying as soon as the applications open, because once a program is full, they will open up a wait list, and it is possible to come off the wait list. Obviously, students' plans change, but sometimes we never get to pull a student from the wait list. So apply. If you have a global seminar in mind and you know, like, for sure, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it, go ahead and apply. The deadline for global seminar applications is, the early bird deadline is February 1st. The final deadline is March 1st. So they open November 1st and you have until March 1st to apply, or until the program fills. Yes, you can do both a UCEAP program and a global seminar. Obviously the dates can't overlap if you're looking at 2 summer program options, but if you're looking at doing like a global seminar this summer and then a UCEAP program in the fall, we have lots of students do that. Go ahead, please. Yes, we love that idea. Again, and I want to emphasize, the majority of our transfer students study abroad, either summer, their first summer here, so that's upcoming summer 2022, or fall of their senior year, so that'll be fall 2023. So your time is now. Are there any other questions? Pop them in the Q&A. Hopefully you feel like you got a lot of information and you kind of understand how to get this process started. Please know that we have tons and tons of resources on our website. You can view first steps in clips. So if you're like, wait, what was she saying about finances again? We have a first steps that's pulled out just for finances. We have a first steps that's pulled out just for the application process. So you can look at those short videos. I think there are 6 of them. You can join us for drop-in advising. You can meet with an advisor if you already have a specific program in mind. The France Sign Language program. That is a summer session 1 program. You can visit global seminar, singular, globalseminar.ucsd.edu to view all of the different program options. The ones I showed you are only the ones I pulled out for this presentation. There are many, many more. I think there's like over 20 this summer. So you can check them out. You can look at them, filter them by academic discipline. You can filter them by location. You can look at the ones for your specific college, because I think most of the colleges are offering at least one this summer. That's pretty exciting. Let's see, other questions. Okay, so in terms of meeting with a financial aid advisor, so if you just want to ask questions about scholarships, you'll meet with one of the study abroad advisors, because we'll be able to advise you on scholarships. But if you want to talk about your specific financial aid package and how that would be applied to a specific study abroad program, that's when you would meet with our financial aid officer, Tina. If you want to know more information about our scholarships, you can also visit our website, studyabroad.ucsd.edu, and click on the financial aid and scholarships box, and it will take you to our scholarships page. We have a scholarship database. Right now, we're in our cycle for students who are studying abroad winter, spring. But you can view all the different scholarship options available and view the eligibility requirements for each scholarship. She may talk about that in your session, but typically if you just want to discuss scholarships, you'll meet with an advisor. If you want to discuss your financial aid, then you'll meet with Tina, our financial aid officer. And then for UCAP summer, fall 2022, applications are open right now, literally right now. They opened just 2 weeks ago. So the time is now. Most of the summer and fall deadlines are in January. There are a few in February, but most are in January. So you've got plenty of time to apply, but it's not something you want to wait too long on. Ideally, you want to get your application submitted before you head into winter break. I think for you all, because most of you do not have a UC GPA, if you're looking at UCEAP, what you can do is get everything done for your application except for uploading your unofficial transcript. Then when your fall quarter grades come in over winter break, you can upload that official or unofficial transcript with your new UC GPA and then hit submit on your application. A few of our application deadlines are that very first Monday that we come back in January. So we do want you to have your application submitted by then. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I thank you all for your time. Oh, one more. Oh, I noticed that today. So the comparing prices for the global seminars URL is not working. I think they're literally updating new budgets right now. If you scroll down, you can see fees and funding for each program. So you can look at the budget for an individual or the cost estimate for an individual program. But right now the comparison tool has been pulled down. I imagine that's just a today thing and it will be up again very, very shortly. Any other questions? Okay, so thank you all so much for attending today. Again, we are really excited that you're here. We're really excited that you're thinking about studying abroad. We hope that you do. Just because you're a transfer student doesn't mean that you shouldn't participate in an awesome experience like this. We want to make this work for you. We know you're on a short timeline, but we have some really cool program options that you can absolutely participate in next year. And so we hope you'll take advantage. Enjoy the rest of National Transfer Student Week. Have a great week in general, and please be in touch with our office.